If you feel like something needs to change in your life in 2025, then this video is for you. I've been setting goals at the start of the new year for the last decade, and some of them I have absolutely smashed. One year I decided in 2020 I was going to stop drinking, and I managed to do that successfully for a year and a half. Others I have miserably missed. You know, I've probably had goals multiple years where I've said, oh, I'm going to make £1,000,000 this year. Sadly, I haven't done that yet. But over that decade of setting goals, I've learned a lot of things that I think can help. And I'm going to, in this video, share 3 secrets that I think will really help people setting goals this year at the start of 2025 to actually achieve their goals by the end of the year. Secret number 3, if you do nothing else other than secret number 3, that is the true secret to achieving success. But I think the other 2 are very important too. So let's start with number 1. Secret number 1 is to set achievable goals. You may have heard of the SMART goals framework before. That means setting goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. And I guess you could also call this secret setting realistic goals. And that's something I always had an issue with. In the early years of setting goals, I always wanted to set insanely ambitious goals because I was like, well, if I miss my insanely ambitious goal, then I'll probably still be better off than if I had set a really low level goal and don't achieve it. And while I think there's some of that energy, there's probably some sort of truth to it. I think it is, if you're constantly setting goals that you're not achieving, then that becomes sort of demoralizing and you lose the energy or the desire to keep sort of working towards those things. Because it's like, if you say I'm going to earn £1,000,000 this year and it gets to like June and you've earned like 50 grand or whatever, then you're not necessarily going to be particularly happy. I mean, even if you've earned 50 grand by June, you might still be happy. But so an example for me of how this came to life, or where I really feel like I learned this lesson, is for a number of years, I've always got a goal that's like health and fitness related. And for years, I've been saying, oh, okay, I'm going to work out 6 times a week. I'm going to work out 8 times a week, do double workouts and all this crazy, like really overly ambitious thinking. Whereas in 2023, I decided to completely flip that on its head and do what I thought was a very achievable, realistic goal, but that I would still see benefits from. So I said, instead of saying I'm going to try exercise 6 times a week, 7 times a week, 8 times a week, I'm going to say I'm going to exercise 3 times a week. And by making that change, there was plenty of weeks in the year where I did work out 4 times a week, 5 times a week, 6 times a week. But every single week, pretty much of the year, I worked out 3 times a week at least. In fact, every single week up until mid-December, I got sick. And so I missed like the last 2 weeks of the year. But that doesn't mean it was a failure. I think I absolutely smashed it. I don't really care that I missed 2 weeks. And this year for 2025, my goal is going to be in that arena to exercise 4 times a week. So I've built the habit now and I'm incrementally sort of trying to build that up a little bit extra. But now that I've built that habit, 4 times a week is more realistic. So don't necessarily feel like you have to go from 0 to 90 straight away. If you make things more immediately achievable, you can then build on that if you actually achieve success, and you'll feel the satisfaction of like, oh, I set that goal and I achieved it. And then you'll feel energized to do it the next year or the next quarter. You can do it whatever, next month, next week. But building on it slowly and starting with that realistic, more achievable goal, I think is something that in my earlier years, I really didn't see the value in. And in my later years, I think is an incredibly valuable thing. Just looking at my notes here for this video, and there is actually a 4th secret that I'm going to share at the end of this video. So make sure you stay tuned for that, because I think it's actually a really important one. I think it's the one I said was number 3. So actually the most important, if you can only do one, it's actually number 4. Secret number 2 doesn't necessarily directly relate to goal setting, but it's something that I think is a really valuable mental framework that can help you as and when you're sort of struggling to maybe stick to goals, or you're sitting there and you're thinking about doing the thing you're supposed to be doing, and you're having that inner struggle where part of you doesn't want to do it. You don't want to go to the gym. You want to eat the chocolate bar instead of the piece of broccoli or whatever. And that is to really focus on the fact that doing difficult things... Oh, my bed's disgusting. Oh my God, that's so embarrassing. Sorry about that. I lost track of what I was saying. I got distracted by the messy bed. But the point is, do difficult things and your life will be easy. Do easy things and your life will be hard. I think that's an expression someone once said. But if you focus on the fact that when you do difficult things in the moment, or things that are hard to do, longer term, if you stack those things up, that's what's going to lead to your ultimate happiness and satisfaction in life. So there's a mental framework, I think, to really implement and bear in mind when you do the difficult things, the things that are hard, the things that you don't necessarily want to do in the moment. That's what's going to unlock your happiness longer term in life. And that's what's going to make you feel good as a person and make you feel proud of yourself in the longer term. Secret number 3, less is more. Let's go back to the other room to vary the background to keep this video engaging before I get into lesson number 3. Lesson number 3. I keep calling it a lesson now. It's a secret. Secret number 3. Less is more. So I've got a small notebook. Another thing that in my earlier years of goal setting that was a common sort of mistake that I would make is I would set 30, 40, 50 goals. That is a recipe for disaster, a recipe for failure, a recipe for spreading your focus and your attention so thin that you lose focus of any of those goals and you don't end up achieving any or pretty much all of them. Especially the ones that require, a bit more effort or a bit more pushing of yourself. Those are the ones that really fall by the wayside. If you really hone in and focus on too many goals, that's where you'll really end up failing. Because if you have your attention split across 20 different goals, the likelihood of you actually achieving any of those goals becomes really, really thin. So less is more. I would challenge you. I'm listening to an audiobook at the moment called The Ride of a Lifetime, which is by the former, maybe current, he left for a while, but then he came back, and I don't know if he's still there, but CEO of Disney, who oversaw a hugely successful period of Disney as a company. And this is actually a piece of advice somebody else gave him in his first year as CEO of Disney. He had all these different things that he was going to outline to the company as his priorities for the business. And this person advised him, no, only have 3 things that you bring to the market or you bring to the company as your priorities, because people really struggle to wrap their head around and to sort of comprehend and to focus on more than 3 big goals. So if you've already set goals for this year and you have a long list of goals, really having those sort of 3 prioritized goals is a really effective way to sort of bring yourself to that laser focus. Potentially have more goals, but have that top 3 as the sort of non-negotiables, or the ones that you really want to focus on for the year. So for me, on record here, so this will lock it in. First goal I already said is to go to the gym or go for a run, exercise 4 times a week. Second goal is to post a YouTube video once a week. So here's the first one of those. I've actually posted one this week, but the vlogs for my travels don't count. Brand new video every week posted on YouTube. My third goal, I think, is to put on an art show at some point in this year, which I did one last year. It was very fun. It looked like this. 3 things. Focus on those top 3. And I think the fewer goals you have, the more likely you are to actually hone in on them and actually achieve them. So less is more. Remember that. I should really stop at 3 because you might not have the mental capacity to focus on more than 3 secrets. But I'm going to tell you the 4th one as soon as we go to the other room again. Secret number 4. This is the simplest and yet the most difficult of all the secrets, and that is, don't negotiate with yourself once you've set a goal. Do what you say you're going to do. Sounds insanely simple, like almost like makes no sense. Why would you say that? Let's just do the things that you set as your goals and then you'll achieve your goals. But that's literally how simple it is. Like if you say you're not going to drink this year, then just don't drink this year and then you have achieved your goal. If you say you're going to work out 3 times this year, a week, 4 times a week this year, whatever, if you do that, then you've achieved that goal. It's a stupidly simple thing, but remember that the only way you don't achieve your goal is by not doing it. So do the things that you say you're going to do. Don't negotiate with yourself after you've set the goals, and then you'll be successful. Also, make sure you're subscribed to this channel, drop this video a like, leave a comment letting me know what your top 3 goals are for the year, and let's circle back in 12 months and hopefully we'll have all achieved our goals and it's going to be a great year. I believe in you. I believe in me. Let's go get it.